Hey everyone, Tristan back with another video, and in this video I wanted to do a quick review of a lens for my Leica M10. This is the Voigtlander Nokton 35mm f1.2 lens, and by all accounts this lens is actually better than the Leica equivalent lens, the 35mm Summilux lens. That lens costs like $5,000, this lens costs like $1,000, yet this lens actually performs better, believe it or not, for a number of reasons or in a number of areas. So that's why I wanted to do this video, because I think it's just really a killer lens. Whether you shoot a Leica Digital M or Leica Film M camera, or even a Sony A7 series camera, or even a DSLR camera, you can get adapters to shoot the manual focus Leica M lenses for those cameras. This lens is made in Japan in the Voigtlander factory, which also makes Zeiss lenses currently. It's very well made. You know, maybe not quite as good as a German-made Leica lens, but you'd be hard-pressed to really tell a difference. You know, brass construction. It's got a very classic construction, as you can see here. It doesn't have a lens tab, but it has like the focus ring right here, which feels very sturdy. Very well-made lens, very good optics. And near as I can tell, it has the same optics as the 35mm Summilux lens, yet at like a quarter of the price. I will post a link to a Leica ambassador. He actually sort of works for Leica on occasion. His name is Jay Casario, and he has a blog post where he compares this lens to the 35mm Summilux lens, and he concluded that he prefers this lens. And he actually returned his Leica Summilux lens. So, you know, he actually Leica ambassador, yet he prefers this Voigtlander lens. So that's not always the case. Not all Voigtlander lenses actually are as good or better than the Leica equivalent lens, but in the case of the 35mm focal length, I think that really is the case. This lens is the fastest 35mm lens at f1.2 available that you can get in the sort of M-mount series of lenses. It also focuses closer than the 35mm Leica Summilux lens. The Voigtlander Nokton focuses at 1.6 feet minimum focusing distance, whereas the Leica Summilux 35mm focuses at 2.3 feet. So that's a big difference. You know, I've actually noticed that. So for instance, let's just say as an example, you're taking a picture of a plate of food or something like that in a restaurant. Instead of having to hold it like way above your head or whatever to focus, with this lens you can actually focus closer. And something that I've actually noticed is that this lens can actually focus closer than what the rangefinder itself is capable of focusing, which actually works fine because you have an electronic viewfinder as well on the Leica M10. So you can always just switch to that and look at the screen on the back and focus that way rather than through the optics. So that's sort of a plus with this lens. Again, it's also faster than the Leica Summilux lens. The Leica Summilux is f1.4, whereas this is f1.2, so you're gaining a whole stop there. And again, for the build quality, the image quality of it, and the price, I think it's really hard to beat the 35mm Nokton Voigtlander lens. Now, not all Voigtlander lenses are as good as the Leica equivalents, but I think in the 35mm focal range, the Voigtlander is actually better than the Leica, so that's partly why I'm doing this video. Because I really like lenses and, any other products really that perform above their price point, and, I like to share that with others when I discover those. That being said, I do have the Leica Summilux 50mm lens, which I think is better than the Voigtlander 50mm Nokton. So I really do like that lens. If you would like me to review that lens, just leave a comment and let me know, and I will, be happy to do a review on that. But yeah, all in all, this lens is just a really excellent lens. And near as I can tell, it performed optically as good, if not better, than the Leica equivalent 35mm Summilux lens. Note that Voigtlander sells the lens hood separately, but I actually don't mind flare sometimes, so I don't actually use a lens hood. I do have a UV filter on it, however, to protect the front of the lens and stuff when I'm out doing street photography. So that's how you see it here. Probably the only benefit of the Leica Summilux 35 versus the Voigtlander 35 is the Summilux is smaller. It's a smaller form factor. It's more like thin and light, whereas this is a little bit thick and heavy and a little bit bigger, but it gives it that kind of classic look and feel though. But if you're looking for something lighter, then definitely consider the Summilux. The Summilux is by no means a bad lens. There's nobody out there that will tell you Leica makes bad lenses. All of the Leica lenses are some of the best lenses that you can absolutely buy for the money. But if you don't mind the little bit bigger form factor of this lens on your M camera, or Sony A7 camera, or whatever you're using, definitely look at the Voigtlander 35 Nokton f1.2. It's just a really excellent lens and compares very favorably to the 35mm Summilux. I guess one of the other negatives with the Voigtlander is it's not 6-bit coded, so the camera doesn't read the focal length, or what kind of lens it is. So you have to kind of set that manually in the menu system on the Leica digital M camera. Aside from that, I've been very happy with this lens, especially for the price, given that it's like 4 times less than the Leica 35mm Summilux. And I wanted to do a video on it and let you know. So yeah, for pricing and availability on this lens, see the description field, and also see Jay's article below where he talks about this lens and also has image samples as well when comparing it to the Leica 35mm Summilux. So this has been my quick look at the Voigtlander Nokton 35mm f1.2 lens and comparing it with the Leica Summilux 35mm lens. So thanks for watching. For pricing and availability, see the description field, and as always, for any questions or comments, see you in the comments field.